Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another rendition of Minor League Esports. I'm Nigel Thornbrake, your host. Here with me today is Metagriff.
Hey guys, how you doing? Great to be here on my very first cast ever. Nigel, thank you so very much for having me. I can't wait to cast this game with you.
Absolutely looking forward to it. It's going to be quite a good one. We have, starting off the day with Foundation League in threes, is going to be the Demolition versus the Comets. Anything that you're looking forward to seeing out of this first matchup for the day?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super pumped we get to do the first one of the day. It always really sets the tone for where we're going to go. And man, I don't know how it is for you, but it's a beautiful Sunday out. I've had a great day and I can't wait to watch these teams. The things I'm really looking for, the Demolition, right now, they're 3-2 in standard, and the Comets, they're 4-1 in standard. So they've both done decently. They both won their matchups, but they're both really looking to solidify themselves as winners here.
Absolutely. And key to note here is that because this is week 2, we're still in the divisional play, the first round of divisional play of the season. So while both of these teams have been relatively neck and neck in the standings so far based on games, somebody's going to come out ahead today.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are both very evenly matched teams. Both of these players are very strong on either side. I think it's really going to come down to who can rotate better, who can keep their head in the game, and who can last all 5 of these games.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so we're clear, and folks who haven't been around here on the stream before will know that in MLE, we don't play best of 5 series. We play series of 5. That means that every game is going to matter. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get underway. But here we go. The kickoff is off, and we are underway in game 1.
All right. Cleared down to the Comets side. Aspect has control of the ball. Puts it towards the center. Castle, good touch, centering the ball. Scruffy's on top of it. Puts it into the corner. They're on... Scruffy's got the ball, misses. Swanson keeps control, puts it to the side, looking to make something happen for the center for his team. Castle's on 50, but misses.
Yeah, I'd like to see that presence of mind there from Swanson. It looked like a nice chance there from Lobo. Couldn't put the ball on, and most folks, I think you felt it here in the booth. We both kind of wanted to just jump at that ball. It's just something everybody wants to do when it's floating in front of the net. But taking it to the side there, trying to develop a little bit more pressure, keep his team on offense there. Unfortunately didn't work out, but right now the Comets are showing like they're able to develop some good pressure. The Demolition trying to get out of their back third, so far unsuccessfully.
Yeah, the Comets are really looking like they're just trying to survive, not the Comets. The Demolition look like they're really trying to survive here, but the Comets make a big clear. They're trying to get back on the ball. The Demolition are trying to push the pressure here, bring what they can. Comets getting the ball away. Now they're reproducing the pressure on the opposite field. Demo get the clear to the side. Taz is on the ball, playing it loose. Tries to stay with it. Big shot here coming out, but goes off the post. Big defense by Taz. He's playing great defense from the Demo right now, Nigel. Yeah,
so far they're actually putting up a bit of a brick wall. Being under pressure all the time isn't always the death sentence that most folks tend to think that it is. You can definitely survive a lot of pressure provided that your defensive rotation is good. And so far the Demo showing that they have what it takes to weather the storm that the Comets are trying to bring down on them.
Yeah, it's back and forth from both sides here. Swanson up, trying to put the ball center. Aspect's there and makes the shot. 1-0 Comets, and Aspect with an excellent follow from a beautiful centering touch here by Swanson off the back.
Absolutely. I love to see this. Swanson just real heads up play, decides that he needs to get this extra touch here up in the corner. Nobody's ready for it, and the Demo have no answer, no way to get in front of Aspect there. Excellent touch to go up 1.
Yeah, so we kind of broke the ice here. Comets got a goal. Now everybody's like, okay, everybody has those nerves at first, even the casters here in the booth, believe it or not, and they've got that goal in, and now they're working on it. But Taz with an incredible 50 to score that goal.
Wasting no time to bring the team right back into it, and we're tied up at 1 here. Still 3 minutes to play in game 1. But yeah, just an excellent heads up, even a little bit of just kind of go mentality there from Taz.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with staying on top of the ball and when you're pressuring, especially just making the best 50 you can. Speaking of 50s, going back into the corner, Scruffy's on it. Doesn't quite get the touch, but that's okay. His team's back. Swanson clears it into their own corner. Castle's on it, though, trying to make something happen, but ball clears back. Taz is back on it, trying to put the ball center. Gets a touch over Scruffy. It's wide open in mid, but Aspect gets to it.
So that was an instance there where just a little bit of breakdown in communication. Taz definitely had a nice turn there in midfield, able to take a good 50, make a big chance for his team, but nobody was there. Both his teammates were heading back, expecting to be transitioned on going into defense. Swanson there with a big boom. Taz can't get it. Comets go up by another one. 2-1 Comets.
Yeah, that was a big clear by Swanson here. Has a great read, just barely gets it over the demo defender. And then unfortunately, it looks like Taz just can't quite get there in time. So it's 2-1 Comets up now, 2:26 left to go. Here's the kick. Great kick by Scruffy. Ball stays neutral. Aspect up, dumps it into the corner, looking to make something happen center. Cleared out by Taz. Taz is staying on it. Works
so
it,
far,
but
sorry.
No,
so far it's looked like the Demolition's offense has been sort of the Taz story. It looks like both Alyssa B and Castle doing their best to slot in and support Taz, but if he's not going down the field and making those chances happen, then they're really not able to get out of their back third. And the Comets are really starting to take advantage of that. And like this we mentioned at the beginning of the game here, this pressure that they've been able to develop, it's starting to become, looks like it's just starting to become a little too much for the demo. We'll see how they hold up here for the rest of the 2 minutes of this game.
Absolutely, and in threes, a great strategy always to keep is to just suffocate the defense. If you can tell as an offense when you're playing that you can stay on top of the other team and really assert your pressure, it's really a great way to win and close out games. Rough touch here to the back, and Taz can't get to it.
We know what we say here in MLE, we take those. This is absolutely just Swanson gets a little lucky here with a flip. Excellently timed from Castle. I don't think Castle was intending to put it in his own net, but that's the effect. 3-1 Comets.
All right, ensuing kickoff, 3-1 Comets. Still plenty of time left, though. We can absolutely tie this game up on the demo side.
Love to see, speaking of demos, love to see Alyssa coming out there and just absolutely crushing through one of the Comets players at midfield on the kickoff.
Absolutely. Always good way to shake up the opponent's defense is to get those demos out there, get them awkward, and big shot by Taz, just like we were talking about, Nigel.
Yep. And so the Demolition doing their best to stay in this game, and definitely Taz is having a big impact, especially in those first man moments where he's just on the ball, applying the pressure, and the Comets not able to really be set in their defensive third there. They were expecting a transition, and that 50 coming out of midfield really caught them off guard.
Absolutely, it did catch him big off guard. Speaking of getting caught off guard, Scruffy almost gets the ball in, but can't quite convert. Danger here in front, but Castle clears it, staying on. Scruffy turns, but rotates to let their team take care of it. Swanson's up. Double touch? No, not quite. Centered for Taz. He's got control, but just 50s it off the back. Aspect stays on. Big 50. Castle's on top of it. Let's see what he can do. Scruffy jumps up, and Taz is right back there, just like we were talking about. It looks like the Taz show here from the demo, Nigel.
It really does. And I think it's just Taz playing heads up Rocket League here and realizing that there isn't a whole lot of presence in the midfield from his teammates. Somebody needs to develop that, though, or else the Comets, or have shown time and time again throughout this game, they will move the ball down the field and start to just absolutely smother you in your own defensive third. Taz doing his best to counter against that. Of course, there's the downside there that if you're spending all of your time attacking in the midfield and not watching your defensive mid, or defensive third, that you can't get countered on. And that almost happens there for the Comets. Doesn't, but fortunately for them, they don't need it. And as long as this one hits the ground, Comets will take game one.
Yeah, that was a great showing, actually, from both teams, really. I think towards the end of the game, it really felt like the demo kind of got their heads in it, really kind of felt like, okay, Taz is our leader, let's rotate around him, let's see what we can do with that. And I think they really cleaned it up towards the end of their game, so I'm really eager to see how they take that shift into the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, the back half of that game one definitely looked much different from the first half of it. We saw the Comets come away with a couple of quick goals on a Demolition team that looked a little bit out of sorts, a little bit like they were just trying to get settled in, overcome the stream nerves. And for some of these players, I'm sure this is their first actual MLE match on stream. So that's always a factor, but it did look like they started to settle in there. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out of the gate in game two. Any predictions there?
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I don't want to be that guy, but the demo looks so good at the end of the game. I really think the demo are going to come out here and really show us something this game.
I mean, I could see it, absolutely, especially if Taz continues to develop the pressure that he has so far in game one in the midfield, provided that Castle and Alyssa B are able to be there to support him and actually bring a three-person rotation to the offensive side of the field instead of just solo plays, which is what we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And the key matchup I'm looking for here is watch Taz on defense. I think the Comets have identified Taz as definitely the strongest player here. And I saw last game, it looked like they were hunting for him to get him out of the net. So watch that key part here.
Absolutely. And as a counterpoint here, as we're just about to kick off and game 2 underway with the kickoff, Lobo versus Taz. Actually, that's who I'm going to mention here for the Comets. Looking a little bit like, not to call anybody out, but looking a little bit like the weak link of the Comets defense. Lobo was in that first game, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of adjustments he's going to make to try to fix that hole in their defense.
Well, we're seeing the adjustments right now that the Comets have made since the start, and that's just pour the pressure on. They clear the ball across the net, keeping it on their side. Swanson with a big self-pass, huge goal around the goal.
And that's just speed, speed, speed. Swanson gets a great touch here to beat Taz. Alyssa can't get in front of it, leaves Castle wondering what's going on, and next thing you know, the ball's behind you in the net.
That was a fantastic goal from the Comets side, just 27 seconds in. And now let's get back to the kickoff. Aspect wins the kick.
Speaking of speed there, Aspect had no trouble getting that ball past. I didn't see who was taking it from the Demolition, but it was a beat by a mile type situation.
Yeah, it definitely looked like Aspect just had a better flip off the kick there to get the pressure on. And speaking of pressure, that's all the Comet are doing right now. Clears it in center, Swanson on it. Taz can't quite get control of it, but Castle's got it. We just need to see some aggression here from the demo. It looks like they're just struggling to play defense.
Absolutely. I think this one so far has come down to 50 quality in the midfield where the demo, wow, that one goes in. We take those. Swanson with a light touch from the back post here, but Alyssa awkward, can't drive backward into the ball, and somehow Taz just clears it into his own net rather than out.
I think we've all been there, Nigel. We've definitely all in a rush to go back to our own.
I do that 3 times a week. I don't say we've been there. So far, like I was saying, it's really looked like the demo are just not able to get the kind of 50-50s that they're looking for. They're trying to advance the ball. They're doing what they think is they're trying to execute their game plan. Swanson just missing a beautiful pass there from Lobo.
Yeah, they've been doing their best. I mean, to the demo's credit, as many shots and as many times, just caster curse. It's my fault. It's all my fault, Nigel. I did it to him.
Absolutely, you really did. You called that down upon them. Aspect here, though, just with a huge dunk on Taz. What a read. That's really all it is right there. That's just a great read. Excellent play from the Comet.
He was midfield. He saw his opponent was struggling up in the air, and he knew if he attacked at the right angle, he would easily score that goal.
And so now, 3 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock in game 2, 3-0 for the Comets, and the Demolition were left wondering, how do we get ourselves into this mess? And more importantly, how do we get out of it? Speaking of, what a big pinch there. Unfortunately for the Demolition, looked like Swanson was back there just in time to get it.
Yeah, well, here we go. We've got some offense from the demo. They got the clear they needed. They've kind of sorted themselves out, and it looks like they're making some offense happen here. The Comets, though, have just been incredible at clearing the ball and setting themselves up to really apply that pressure, just like I was talking about. Wow. Aspect with another beautiful goal.
And so this one looks like a little bit of, counterattack pressure. Taz with a big miss there on the sidewall there, and Alyssa just not able to react in time on that deadly pass coming into Aspect's hood. No shot.
Yeah, the demo aren't out of this, though. We still have plenty of time. This is only game 2. The demo have shown signs of brightness of getting out of this and really putting together a strategy. I think they just need to look for those demos. They need to find that opening to kind of relieve that pressure that the Comets just will not stop applying.
Absolutely. Wow. And Swanson doing it all himself here. Big pass into the corner and the backboard. Goes completely uncontested. Comes right back down on top of him. He takes the shot.
Yeah, that was another just beautiful read by Swanson off the wall. He's doing a very good job of positioning himself correctly, being in the right place at the right time, and executing those shots on net. Hats off to him.
Yeah, and I think, like we've mentioned a few times here, but this is starting to come down to the fact that the demo, or I don't know if it's a confidence issue, I don't know if it's just being done with this particular game because it's 5-0, but they're starting to play really passive and just allowing balls to fall down from the ceiling unchallenged and allowing shots on their net from right in front of the net. And Swanson says, sure, I'll take that. Of course,
yeah, you can never obviously get ahead if you're always playing from your own goal unless you can supremely punish the aspects of your opponent's offense. So here we see Taz dumping in the corner. Let's see if Demo can get some offense going. Cleared by Swanson. Alyssa staying on the attack. but Scruffy clears it to the sidewall. Castle turns, puts it up and left. Castle staying on, but pulls off. Taz go to clear.
Well, that's just a mistake touch, I think, from Alyssa B. I don't think she intended to hit that one backward from her own half there. Just in time, back Castle and Tazlian doubling up on the save there. But the Comets said, thanks, we'll take your mistake in transitioning in the midfield and we'll go ahead and play our game and apply our pressure. 3-4 shots later, and it's 6-0.
Yeah, Swanson just pouring it on here. It's very clear that the Comets have gotten in a excellent offensive rhythm. They've seen where they're supposed to flow through, and that's Swanson. So Scruffy and Aspect are doing an incredible job of creating space, putting the ball in midfield, and letting Swanson finish.
Absolutely. And I think really it's going to come down to the fact that the Comets have recognized that the Demolition are struggling with their defensive rotation, and they're getting set out of position, out of rotation. They're able to, if they can get in there and steal 1 or 2 boosts, or they can get 1 or 2 50s, the Demolition can't keep up, and they're getting wide open looks at the net.
Yeah, the good news here, though, is you have 5 games in this match. I mean, yes, the Demo are behind by 7 goals this game, but the great news is once this game ends and you go to the next one, it's 0-0 again. You can wash that mental away, you can reset yourself, and you can say, okay, what are we going to do better this game?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is the great part about the series, is that, you know, come the start of Game 3, none of this matters, other than the fact that it will just be one more loss that seems inevitable at this point as the Comets go up 8-0. I don't think that the Demolition are going to be able to mount a comeback, at least in this game.
Yeah, the real comebacks from games like this, though, Nigel, are the ones where you use this time, and a lot of people refer to this time as trash time. But even when I'm in games like this, I really try to use this time to nail down the specifics, the easy stuff, the things that I know I have control over. Make sure, you know, I'm looking at the right way on the field, make sure I'm in the place I'm supposed to be, and really trying to lock down those easy things so that when I transition, it's easier for me to get locked in for the next game.
Absolutely, yeah. You sometimes, when the pressure is overwhelming or the nerves are getting to you, just sort of have to go back and focus on the fundamentals, focus on the basics. Tazlin doing what he can here to send the ball down the field to develop a little bit of offensive pressure for the Demolition and really relieve some of that defensive pressure that the Comets have continued to pour on for just about 5 minutes straight. But you're right, this is the opportunity right now where you start to have a conversation with yourself or with your team and say, here's what's happening, here's what I'm seeing on the field, here's what I think we need to change going into the next game so that hopefully the next one doesn't go 8-0 as well. Comets take game 2 in dominating, devastating fashion.
Yeah, that was obviously a very one-sided game here with the Comets scoring 8 total goals. Swanson, like we were singing his praises earlier, 10 shots on 5 goals, pelting the Demolition's defense here with shots. And
but
Taz
really,
doing his best with 5 saves, but he just can't keep him out of it.
I think really the more important and the more telling statistic of this match is the fact that when you look over in the shots column for the Demolition, it's 3 goose eggs. That shows you just how dominating of a pressure performance the Comets put out there. They never left the Demolition's half of the field except to take kickoffs.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective from this game, I think the best thing the Demolition can really do here is to say, okay, we've identified that Swanson is punishing us in front of the midfield here. Everything that goes midfield, Swanson's all over it. So let's prioritize having someone get to the ball as fast as they can midfield and really try and apply that pressure and work from there.
Absolutely. And I think another angle that the Demolition can look at here to try to boost their chances is really protecting their boost. Because a couple of times we've seen that the Comets are able to get in there when they get set up on offense, and they're just rotating a little bit faster than the Demolition. And so they're getting in there, they're stealing the pads in front of the net, they're stealing the corner boosts, and leaving the Demolition sort of with nowhere to go. So if the Demolition prioritize saving that boost for them, and now, hold on, I'm not seeing all of the players in the lobby on the field yet for Game 3. Oh, wait, does it go?
Good. Yeah.
All righty.
All right, let's go to the kickoff. Game 3, everything even, once again, 0-0. Let's see if the Demo can wash away that mental wear and get back to a good place and get a dub here.
Absolutely. And honestly, at this point, like we were saying earlier, we just got to look for the wins and the small stuff. So Taz gets a big clear there and continuing to develop the pressure through the corner. But a double commit from Alyssa B and Castle there might not be good. but the Comets are a little slow on transition. They're not able to capitalize on the mistake rotationally from the demo. Unfortunately, Castle takes a really poor 50 in front of his net. Swanson just drives it through him.
Yeah, Castle really tries here, gets the back boost, he knows the shot's coming, and he makes a great 50 on the ball, but Swanson has the presence of mind to flip up and over and make his car bigger and just forces it in the goal there.
Absolutely, and that just comes from practice, from experience, knowing how to take a 50 there, and Swanson just showed that he's a little bit better at it.
He has indeed showed us that all game. Here he is again. He's got the ball, goes past his defender. He's going to look to shoot this, but he gets demoed from behind. Taz with an incredible save. Oh, my heart.
Speaking of presence of mind, for Taz to be able to miss that ball in the front corner on the front post and then make it back to the net while the ball slowly dribbles into the net and actually get behind it, that's impressive. Showing that Taz is still in this.
Unbelievable. He's doing his best, Nigel. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
But we've got a big clear. Aspect just takes advantage, unfortunately. Again, the roughness and rotation here, this is what can happen sometimes. Castle, it looks like he's got ball cam on and doesn't see his teammate in the net. And unfortunately, a team like the Comets, who's staying on top of you on offense, is going to punish you for those every time.
Absolutely. So we see there the demo with an interesting strategy of sort of a delayed cheat on the kickoff. It ends up working out for him there, at least until the third or fourth shot comes in, and the Comets are wasting no time in game 3 here, going up 3-0 almost immediately. 3:44 left to play here, though.
Yeah, we've still got a long game to go. Again, we've talked about this before. It's like in Rocket League, when you're having a rough time mentally, or at least for me, when I'm having a rough time mentally, I try to break everything up into little pieces. I try to take the little sections of the game that happen and go, okay, I did this well, so we're on the right track, or I need to work on this because this little piece wasn't looking good. So it's about identifying those single pieces within your game and trying to improve on those.
Absolutely. And so we've been talking a lot, obviously, about mistakes that the Demolition are making, as another one happens there. A miss at midfield from the third man. Lobo gets the touch, sends it into the back of the net. Castle just boosting a little too high on his aerial, trying to be aggressive in the attack there. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out for him. But back to what I was saying, we've seen a couple of times now, or we've talked a lot about how the Demolition are making mistakes. The Comets are punishing them. And it's easy to get in your head and say, wow, these guys are just so much better than us, or we're really just not having that good of a day. But we've seen now, since I started talking about this, 2 or 3 times that the Comets have bumped each other in net. Speaking of bumping in net, Swanson with a great bump in net, Aspect with a shot, 5-0 Comets.
Yeah, it's a bumping in this game can go either way, really. Especially in this. It's in Foundation League, in this league, obviously we're MLE, we have skill levels all across, and everybody in this is fairly newer to the game, fairly lower skill level, but that doesn't mean that they don't all have very good grasps of like how to play the game and how to operate within this, and like really how to tighten up those demos or tighten up those rotations and work on something like getting demos to open up space.
Absolutely. Just for reference for those watching that are unfamiliar with MLE or the leagues here, we are talking about a Foundation League match. In Foundation League, you can see the ranks in the chat. I forget what the command is, but Foundation League ranges from roughly gold all the way up to high diamond into low champ is usually what we see the ranks of these players when they do their placements outside of MLE. And then we have, of course, 4 other leagues on top of this that go all the way up to SSL and PL.
Yeah, and they're all phenomenal leagues. I'm personally in Master League. I love it there. It's a great time. But no matter what your skill level, if you're brand new to Rocket League, if you've been playing forever, you can sign up for MLE. It's super easy, and we'd love to have you. And hey, you can get casted by awesome commentators like Nigel and myself.
That's definitely one of the things that attracted me to this league in the first place. Obviously, when I was a wee young Rocket League player, I think I was a plat when I first joined MLE. The dreaded, the vaunted plat ranks. But I saw a Reddit post and they said, hey, we have this league and we play competitive matches and you can be on stream. And I went, man, that sounds so cool. Sign me up. And here I am now, a couple of years later, and they put me in front of the camera, which I'm not sure was a great decision, but I'll take it.
Well, I think it was a great decision, Nigel, so that's what matters right now.
Appreciate you.
But speaking of great decisions, that's all Swanson keeps doing. He keeps putting the ball, like I said, directly center field, and his team is on perfect rotation to be there every time.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, we took a little break from talking about it because it just seems like we keep saying the same things over and over again, but you're right. That Swanson really, this entire stream, hasn't made a whole lot of bad decisions. It's almost like the guy doesn't miss. Excellent touch there to put it on the backboard, and for Aspect to be there because he just has the trust that Swanson is going to deliver the ball in a place where it's shootable. And the Comets really are in sync, and this is going to show what the Comets are showing us all, like just how lethal a team can be when they're really all in sync.
Absolutely, and I was talking about this exact subject with my team earlier when we were hanging out just playing, and we were talking about how 10 times out of 10 I would take a team of 3 who had played together multiple times than over people who were maybe more mechanically talented but hadn't played together as much. There's so much to be said for the chemistry and the synergy that you can create by having reps with your teammates, knowing where they're going to be, knowing how they'll behave in certain situations, and being able to take advantage of those synergies.
Absolutely. I mean, fundamentally, Rocket League is a game that is more about timing than anything. It doesn't really matter how good you are on the ball or off the ball, because if you're never near the ball to be able to do the things that you can do in free play, then what's the point of having done all that practice? But in a game that's so much about timing, it's all about being able to predict where the ball is going to go, being able to stay on top of the timing, predicting what your teammates are going to do, predicting how the ball is going to play out of 50, etc. And so that's
Speaking of predictions, Nigel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can Swanson see the future? I'm convinced. Right. I mean, this guy doesn't miss. His touches are incredible. He's everywhere.
And I think, honestly, it's more about having good spacing than really just predicting the future, because I've never seen him too far from the ball this entire match.
Yeah, he's like a ball hawk this series. I think he's really just honed in. He understands where he's supposed to be. He understands where the demo is going to be, and he puts himself in exactly the spot he needs to be every time. And it's clearly worked out for them with a 9-0 lead this game.
And almost 9-1. Taz with an excellent shot there, trying to bounce it over the defense, but the Comets were able to double commit. They were able to afford to double commit, and the pressure broke down because there was no rotation for the demo, and we've gone to 10-0. 14 seconds left, though, in this game 3 here.
Yeah, going back to what I was talking about earlier, I honestly think I don't by any means think the demo are necessarily even any worse than the Comets are. I really think this truly comes down to, it looks like the Comets are just a more cohesive unit. They clearly are communicating well. They know where each other are. They're barely double committed, but you're going to see that from this rank no matter what. Nobody's perfect. But Absolutely. They've just kept it so clean, so tight, and the rotations have been so good.
Absolutely. And honestly, you made that point, like, they're rotating better, they're communicating better, but in my estimation, I would almost say that the Demolition are just not rotating. We're seeing a lot of individual plays, especially from Tazlian. But yeah, the Comets are showing exactly why rotations are something that we even talk about in threes, because they're showing that when you have this constant rotation and somebody always ready to challenge and play the ball in a very quick fashion, it can easily overwhelm even talented and mechanical players.
Exactly, and that's one thing I harp on big time. I am a field vision rotator. I make sure I know where everyone is on the field all the times, and my rotation is the thing I care about the most, because I know if I'm successful in my rotation, then my teammates can be successful in theirs, and then we can make positive touches for positive plays against the other team. Rotations are so incredibly important in this game, especially in an organized play like this, because if you don't know where your teammates are, then you can't help them win the game.
Absolutely. I definitely come from the same school of thought, although a lot of my friends would joke and say, yeah, you're a positional player. That's an easy way to say, or that's kind of a cop-out way to say I don't have mechanics, but that's maybe another conversation.
Hey, listen, Nigel, I made Grand Champ without ever being able to hit even air carries. So if you're out there and you think that because your mechanics are bad you can't hit Grand Champ, I did it and you can too. I promise. My mechanics are pretty good now. I've worked on them for a while. But let's get to this game. Scruffy, big kickoff. Taz on the ball. All right, Taz, let's see what you can do. He's staying on it, getting the boosts. trying to make something happen for his team. Gets challenged in the corner, centers it. Alyssa's almost there. Can't quite make the touch. Taz rotates back, makes a light touch on it, but Swanson, he's just there, Nigel.
He's just built different. Honestly, I think Swanson has just shown, Omega Brain level IQ this entire series. Not wasting any time, staying near the ball, not on the ball, right? There's a difference between ball chasing and what we're seeing from Swanson. Swanson has excellent position and spacing to the ball this entire series, so he can let his teammates take a pass at the ball. He can be the first man to make the challenge if need be, and as soon as somebody misses a challenge or has a 50 not go their way, he's there to take back over, take possession of it, and do something with the ball.
Yeah, Swanson again on the ball, but that's played back. Aspect on it. Castle makes the 50. Aspect's up, misses the touch, but Scruffy's there to clean it up. Taz coming out, puts it way high up, and it looks like he's going to follow his own shot here, and just misses the ball, but so does Swanson. Aspect looks for the clear. Alyssa doesn't quite make the touch, and Aspect has a smooth sailing to an open goal there.
Yeah, that's just one of those that over time you will learn to recognize you can't miss there. Not as the third man of the rotation there. So unfortunately, Alyssa with a big miss lets another one go past.
Yeah, being the third man is that really underrated, but really just pressure-induced, terrifying spot to be in. You've got 2, 3 players coming at you. You know you're the last one back. You know you have to make the hit. It's not the best place to be in. It feels great when you make the hit, but man, does it feel bad when you miss it.
Yeah, it can be definitely terrifying. It's a high-pressure moment and high-pressure place to be. And that's why, honestly, the discourse around Rocket League, just what a touch from Swanson.
Swanson is a magician. My goodness.
Can this man quit being a human highlight reel for like 30 seconds so we can have a conversation here, please? But anyway.
Unbelievable soft touch control from Swanson there. Just barely cleanly flicks it over the defender, has the presence of mind to keep car control, and then gets the nice touch into the goal to stay on it.
So I just had something come through on the stat line here from the rest of the folks in the booth. There have been 21 straight goals for the Comets, 21 unanswered.
Wow, 21 straight goals. Well, I think if you're the demo, the way you look at this is, listen, the Comets are going to score anyway. We've seen that. They're going to score. What can we do to, if anything, to assert our own pressure? Is there a way we can find here to, instead of maybe playing defense, instead you just put somebody upfield. Maybe you send somebody upfield.
Yeah, maybe you start getting creative with, hey, you know what? We accept that we're going to get stuck in high-pressure situations in defense, and if it happens, it happens. But what if we just send two, or, what if we go after demos in the backfield? What if you hit their third man? Right? Especially
I think disruption would really help the demo here. They should live to their namesake is what I really think they should do, and get those demos in there, Nigel.
I agree. Demolitions are far and away one of my favorite mechanics in Rocket League, and they absolutely are a mechanic. You can call them cringe if you want, but they're very much an integral part of the game, and those who are better at them then will always have the upper hand and the last laugh against those people who are bad at dodging them.
No, I totally agree. Demos have been part of the game forever. And if you think demos are cringe, pros demo all the time. So I guess everybody who plays the game professionally is cringe.
I think honestly that I think that's just come about, that we've accepted that in North America Rocket League discourse, anything that where I'm losing, I'm going to call cringe. That's just how we are.
Well, some people can stand losing and some people can't, Nigel. And at the end of the day, the Rocket League match is 5 minutes, and once it's over, that's it. You don't have to deal with it anymore. So, but back to the action here. Swanson again pouring it on. Aspect unfortunately backflips, but actually worked out as a fake. Alyssa with a good clear here, but Swanson on top of the ball. Taz clears to the center. Scruffy pops it up for his team and rotates out smartly. Alyssa's on it, and Aspect, big hit towards the center, trying to stay on it. Huge 50 from Taz, and the demo look like they're playing a lot better defense here.
Absolutely. Really, it's like I mentioned, I think back in game 1 or game 2, we're finally starting to see a good bit of 50 presence come out from the Demolition. They're starting to take better 50s. They're starting to get goal side of the ball across all 3 of them, and it's really starting to work out in their favor.
Yeah, they've really worked together, some positive touches here, and that's what you have to do. That's what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't matter how bad you're losing. It doesn't matter how bad they beat you the last couple of games. Once you start getting that positive momentum, and once you start seeing those openings, you can identify them and say, hey, here's what we're doing good. Here's how we move forward, guys.
Absolutely. And those are the critical moments. Those are the little pieces that you just have to find. What a touch! Wow! And the chat immediately spammed with nice shot, nice shot, nice shot. Absolutely. Castle just rips this on target. Excellent. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful bounce read, self-pass by Castle. Just reads the ball off the wall. Perfect. Pops his car up just nicely enough and redirects it right into the goal.
It's those kind of shots that you really just love to see. Those are the kind of moments that keep you coming back and playing this game for hours and hours. And I don't know how many thousands of hours you have, Metagrip, but I have more than I care to admit. But, you know, like I said, those are the kind of moments that just keep you coming back because they're just so pretty.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most mentally rewarding games I've ever played. I'm at about 3,000 hours right now. I've played a pretty decent amount, and I've been playing since 2015. And the game just, when you hit that perfect, you know, air roll angle, or when you hit that beautiful centering pass to your teammate and they hook it up into the goal, there's no other feeling like it, Nigel.
Absolutely. Especially for me lately, it's been the full team passing plays. Those are just the ones that really just get everybody in the lobby to just get so excited, just get super hyped and start screaming in the microphone. You get all three, get a big boom, like we might see right here from the Comets. Alyssa with just the last touch there.
Though, incredible presence of mind by Alyssa. That ball was coming straight down over the net, and she positioned her car perfectly to light touch it as it comes down and kick it out of the net.
Absolutely. And so we do see the Comets take game 4, 4-1 this time, though, as opposed to 9-0, 10-0 we've seen in the last couple of matches. So definitely an improvement from the Demolition. Like we mentioned towards the end of this game, it looks like they're starting to have a little bit more presence on defense. They're finally starting to shake it out and say, hey, you know what, we lost the series. You know, it's 3-0, it's 4-0 now. But let's just try to salvage whatever we can. Going back to fundamentals, trying to find the little pieces, develop some momentum, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the most important thing to keep your mind on here. If you're ever in that spot where you're down 4-0, you haven't won a game, you're not feeling good, all you have to do is say to yourself, every game is individual. The first 4 games, they happened. It is what it is. Let's do our best this game to move forward and to have the most positive outcome of this game specifically. You got to keep your mental right, because if you can't keep your mental right in Rocket League, Nigel, you know you're not going to make anything.
Oh, you can ask anybody who's ever been on a team with me. I'm the worst at keeping my mental right. I beat myself more often than my opponents beat me. But that's why we keep coming back and we keep practicing it. One other thing that I will note there from that last match, we saw the Demolition have 4 shots on net, able to put 1 in the net, while as the Comets only had 14 this time around. So those shots will continue to tell the story here. We'll look to see whether here in Game 5 they can continue the trend, hold the Comets to fewer shots, get some more offensive pressure of their own, and maybe even sneak a win here to prevent being completely blanked in the series.
All right, big kickoff. Taz to the corner. Swanson's on top of it as usual. Looking to do something center, but Castle playing great defense. Ball's out to the right. Alyssa trying to make the touch. It's over, and Taz clears it far. Lobo on the ball, staying on it and trying to push it center, but Castle with a great 50. Alyssa's going to come out and make the touch, but doesn't have any boost. Let's see if she can get it over Swanson. But Swanson knows to be patient there, and that's really been his MO all day. He knows where to be, he's being patient, and he's making the touches he's supposed to.
I think that play, though, from Alyssa was excellent. Regardless of whether you have 0 boost, your team is sitting there watching you, expecting you to be the person to go and take the ball and make 50. And she did it exactly as they needed her to. Unfortunately, the Comets, yet again, same story of the entire series. Overwhelming pressure, catching the Demolition with a sloppy rotation.
Yeah, Swanson is just... I'm going to start calling him the Punisher, Nigel, because that's all he does. Every time Swanson gets midfield, he's got eyes like a hawk, and if the ball's there and a shot can be made, he's taking it.
Absolutely. And he's definitely responsible for something like 75 to 80% of the goals in this series. I know somebody from the stats booth give me that stat there if you want to continue contributing, please. But I don't know if wow, what a shot from Aspect.
Incredible.
Catching Alyssa flat-footed on the goal line and just absolutely drilling home.
The most important thing to note here is that so many of these players in threes games like this who succeed so well, yes, they get the praise because they're the ones doing the shots, but what's really enabling Swanson here is the clean, and tight rotations of his teammate Aspect and Scruffy. They're in the spots they're supposed to be. They're playing great defense, and they're really setting Swanson up so that he can shine and so that he can punish those things and be in that spot.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about all the time how Rocket League really is a team game, but it's easy for that to get lost in the narrative of, you know, insert your favorite pro player / carrier. Maybe you're a First Killer fan. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're a
Fireburner,
fan, right? But anyways, like those types of players tend to get talked a lot because it's easy to make stories and narratives about them. But really, this entire series, what we've seen more so than just Swanson taking opportunities, being the person that sent it into the net, we've seen the Comets have excellent presence from the third man in the midfield, never letting the ball escape from the Demolition's defensive half. I think that's more the story of why the Comets are absolutely crushing it than Swanson having, you know, amazing mechanics, or not to say that he doesn't, but I don't think he's doing half these things if they're not keeping as much pressure on the Demolition as they have.
And pressure is the name of the game here as the Comets continue the pressure. We've got 2 minutes and about 45 seconds left in this game. The Comets keeping the ball on the Demo side of the field as they have done best this series. And Taz trying to get the clear there, but can't quite. He'll rotate back. Big shot on net by Scruffy to a self-pass. And a beautiful read by Scruffy Lobo to put their own ball in.
Absolutely. Excellent backboard read from Scruffy. You see the Comets attack the backboard twice. And this is something that we don't see a whole lot of at this rank, but you do start to see more and more of as you go up. When a backboard is undefended, like it often is throughout the series and at this rank, just slamming into the backboard, they're not going to be able to stop it coming back out to you, hopefully with an advantageous position for you, like Scruffy just showed off there. And what an excellent read he has. And then he goes up and puts another one in, just saying, hey guys, don't forget about me. Scruffy's on this team too.
The huge 1-2 connection here from Aspect to Scruffy. I guarantee you Aspect said, hey Scruffy, be ready, I got one for you here. He just delivers him an absolute dime straight above the net midfield. An Aspect with a beautiful touch to get it in.
Absolutely, and you love to see the presence of mind and really the field presence from Scruffy just to be able to be up for that in time. And we have the Demolition a little confused about where they were going to go with the ball and what they were going to do, and now somehow the net is completely open for about 3 or 4 seconds there. Unfortunately, this is the kind of stuff that, well, you hate to see it, we've come to expect from the Demolition throughout the series.
Yeah, it just unfortunately looks like, I think, like I was talking about earlier, it feels like just from watching this, it feels like the Demos threes team, this team specifically, might be a little newer to playing together. It feels like they're still trying to feel out how each other rotate. And unfortunately, they're matched up a team who is at the opposite side of that, right?
Absolutely.
This team has clearly played games together. They clearly have good communication together. And it just goes to show how important practice is with your team and how much it matters on big games like this.
Absolutely. It also goes to show the importance of drilling what I would really call the fundamentals here. You know, there's nuance to positioning in threes. There's tons and tons of it, and there's a huge difference between what I'd say, you know, GC1 is going to be, how the way they're going to be able to position in a threes match versus a C1. But there's also a complete lack of rotation on defense, which is a lot of what we've been seeing from the Demolition. But the Comets now are saying, hey, you know what, we can show off and we can have no rotations as well. They're leaving their net wide open. Unfortunately, the Demolition not able to put the shot on net, not able to punish that mistake.
Yeah, it looks like the Comets have kind of gone towards the, well, we can get back to anything anyway, so let's just start pouring it on from midfield. You can see the very short rotations coming out from them. Their third man is barely going far back, and they're just pouring this offense on, putting it against the backboard constantly and just looking for those reads. And there's Swanson again, the Magician, the Future Seer, the Punisher. I don't know what else to call this guy, Nigel.
Pretty much anything but late for dinner, I think he'd take at this point. No, you're right. That really the Comets have had zero reason to rotate any further back than the defensive third line of the Demolition, because the Demolition this game definitely haven't been able to develop any pressure, haven't been able to get a good 50 to try to push the ball out. Castle, they're looking for a great idea and a hard touch, but not able to make it happen. And then the Comets just let the ball dribble in front of the open net, and nobody's there to punish, which is odd because we were just talking about how they were rotating so tightly and putting so much pressure on in the Demolition's defensive third, and then they all left.
Yeah, it looks like I'd have to go back and look, but Castle was barreling into his own net there, and I think caused some chaos that prevented that goal from happening. But here we're back. Speaking of chaos, Taz puts it off the backboard. Castle's almost there to make the hit, but Swanson just clears it. They've got 7 seconds left. Let's see what they want to do with the ball. Swanson stays on, but Scruffy's there to help, puts it in the top left corner, and they said no mercy from the Comets.
Scruffy absolutely said, hey guys, I just realized that my Sprocket rating is going to be way lower than everybody else's because I haven't scored much this series. And they went, all right, Scruffy, we got you. And now I think that's a hat trick for him in this game 5 here. Bring his stats back up a little bit, patting him a little bit here at the end. We'll run out the final 2 seconds here. And as soon as this one touches the ground, Comets will take game 5. Comets will take the entire series 5-0. Closing thoughts.
Yeah, an overall very impressive showing from the Comets. As we talked about, they had great rotations. They clearly knew where their teammates were. They knew how to operate with each other, and they knew how to really punish those open looks. But it's not all bad from the demo here. Even though they got beat 5-0, there were some very good bright spots for the demo. Taz seems like he has a very good grasp on this team. Castle as well. They just need to find how to rotate Alyssa in there more and get her involved so that they can operate as a cohesive unit.
Absolutely agree. And the great thing about minor league esports in general is that this is a place where we try to foster an environment for people to develop and grow as players, but especially Foundation League. And this is actually an ongoing problem. We have a tough time keeping players in Foundation League because they grow so fast. They get better so fast. And so what I really look forward to is, as the season goes on, looking at how the Demolition in particular find ways to grow from this series and from the rest of them that they play, continue to get better. And we'll really look forward to seeing how they're going to end up looking at the end of the season. Alrighty, well, that's the series. Just a reminder there, that's Foundation League Demolition versus Comets. Comets take the series 5-0 to start us off here today on Sunday, the broadcast for Minor League Esports. Coming up next will be Champion League Outlaws at Bears. I will not be here for that one, so for now I'll be saying for my co-host Metagriff, I'm Nigel Thornbrake, and that's it for us here in Minor League Esports.
See you guys.